Welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most shocking moments in daytime television history. Imagine the scene. It's a typical crisp autumn morning in the ITV studios, the kind where the Loose Women panel is buzzing with their signature mix of gossip, giggles, and unfiltered opinions. The audience, a sea of middle-aged women clutching their cups of tea, is settling in for what they think will be a light-hearted chat with a living legend. Sir Cliff Richard, the evergreen knight of British pop, at 84 years young, strides onto the set with that boyish charm that's captivated generations since the swinging 60s. He's there to promote his latest tour, Summer Holiday Revisited, a nostalgic nod to his heyday hits that still get toes tapping in retirement homes and beyond. The panel today features the fiery Denise Welch, the ever-diplomatic Gloria Hunniford, the cheeky Janet Street Porter, and the relatable Colleen Nolan, all poised with their note cards and knowing smiles. Cliff, dressed in a crisp white shirt and slacks that scream timeless elegance, takes his seat amid applause that echoes like a wave crashing on Bournemouth Beach, where he once filmed his iconic movie. The host, Christine Lampard, kicks things off with warmth. "Sir Cliff, it's an absolute pleasure to have you back. You've been entertaining us for over 6 decades. Tell us, what's the secret to that infectious energy?" Cliff leans in, his eyes twinkling like stars over the Thames, and launches into a tale of his early days, mimicking a guitar riff from Living Doll that has the audience chuckling. But beneath the surface, there's a subtle tension brewing, the kind that simmers when icons collide with modern candor. Denise, with her trademark bob haircut and no-nonsense glare, nods along, but her fingers tap the table, a telltale sign she's got something brewing. As the conversation flows to his recent health scares and triumphant comebacks, Cliff shares a poignant story about overcoming a false accusation that nearly broke him, his voice cracking just enough to tug at heartstrings. The panel coos in sympathy, Gloria reaching out to pat his hand, but Denise's expression hardens ever so slightly. She's known for her battles with mental health advocacy and calling out what she sees as outdated attitudes, and Cliff's old-school chivalry might just be the spark. Little do they know, this chat is about to detonate like a forgotten firework in the summer sky. The cameras roll on, capturing every micro-expression, every shift in posture, as the stage is set for a clash that will leave jaws on the studio floor and social media ablaze. Fans of Cliff, those loyal Cliffettes who've followed him from the shadows of Elvis to the spotlight of knighthoods, tune in expecting nostalgia, not nuclear. Yet here we are, dissecting the build-up to what tabloids are already dubbing Cliff's cataclysm on the couch. It's moments like these that remind us television isn't just entertainment, it's a mirror to our cultural fault lines, where reverence meets rebellion. And as we delve deeper, you'll see how one man's decorum clashes headlong with a woman's unyielding truth-telling. But hold on, because the fuse is lit, and the explosion is mere minutes away. The audience hushes as Cliff recounts a fan encounter from his last tour, a heartwarming anecdote about a grandmother passing the torch to her granddaughter at a concert in Manchester. Laughter ripples through the studio, but Denise interjects with a question that's polite on the surface. "Cliff, you've always been the gentleman, but in this #Me Too era, how do you think icons like you adapt to the changing tides?" It's a softball lobbed with intent, and Cliff catches it gracefully at first, praising the movement's intentions while gently defending his generation's innocence. The panel murmurs agreement, but Denise's eyes narrow as she's not buying the gloss. What starts as a dialogue teeters toward debate, the air thickening like fog over the Mersey. Viewers at home, munching on biscuits, sense the shift. Tweets begin to trickle in, speculation mounting. This isn't just chatter, it's chess, with queens and kings maneuvering for checkmate. And as Cliff smiles through his response, oblivious to the storm, Denise prepares her riposte, a verbal volley that's been marinating since her own days battling tabloid trolls. The clock ticks, commercial break looms, but the real show is just beginning. In the annals of Loose Women lore, episodes have ranged from tearful confessions to celebrity spats, but nothing quite like these. A knight-errant versus a verbal gladiator. Cliff's career, a tapestry woven with 130 million records sold, Wimbledon sing-alongs, and that infamous helicopter raid exoneration, has weathered scandals before. Yet Denise, survivor of bipolar battles and soap opera sagas, wields words like Excalibur, The panel tries to steer back to safer waters, Janet quipping about Cliff's eternal youth Saruma, but the undercurrent pulls stronger, and then, it happens, the pivot point where civility frays. Denise, voice rising like a crescendo in one of Cliff's ballads, challenges his take on workplace dynamics in showbiz, drawing parallels to her own experiences on Coronation Street sets. Cliff, caught off guard, his smile faltering for the first time, counters with a defense of the good old days when handshakes sealed deals and chivalry ruled. The studio gasps collectively, the audience leans forward, tease forgotten. This is no longer promotion, it's provocation. Social media erupts in real time. Hashtags like #Cliff vs Denise trending before the segment ends. Fans divided. Some decry Denise's ambush, others hail her as a heroine for holding power to account. Back in the studio, Gloria attempts mediation, her Irish lilt soothing like balm, but the damage is done. Cliff's cheeks flush, a rare crack in the porcelain facade, as he adjusts his Tia Knight donning armor. Denise, unyielding, presses on, her Geordie accent sharpening each syllable into a dart. The host signals for a break, but the words hang heavy, poisoning the air. What follows is the altercation proper, a verbal tango that twists from tango to tussle. Cliff, voice steady but eyes stormy, retorts that modern sensitivities sometimes go too far, citing his own brush with cancel culture. Denise fires back, invoking her advocacy work, tears glistening but resolve ironclad. The panel fracture Colleen siding subtly with Cliff's hurt, Janet nodding at Denise's fire. Chaos ensues, raised voices overlap, gestures fly, the audience murmurs in shock, and in a heartbeat, it escalates to the unthinkably security whispers in the producer's ear, and the decision drops like a guillotine. Cliff, the man who's headlined Glastonbury at 71, is ushered off set mid-segment, his exit a stunned shuffle past applauding yet bewildered fans. The studio falls silent, then erupts in whispers, cameras cut awkwardly to ads. This, dear viewers, is the anatomy of a TV train wreck, a meticulous build-up to magnificent meltdown. But why did it happen? Was it generational gulf or personal grudge? As we unpack the layers, remember, in the glare of live TV, even legends bleed, and this bleed will stain the archives forever. As the commercial break fades and the Loose Women logo twinkles back onto screens across the nation, the atmosphere in the studio is thicker than London smog on a winter's eve. The panelists shuffle papers, forced smiles plastered like war paint, while off-camera, Cliff Richard's entourage huddles in a green room turned war zone, phones buzzing with incoming fire from agents and publicists. Denise Welch sits ramrod straight, her chest heaving from the adrenaline rush, a mix of vindication and regret flickering in her eyes as she's no stranger to fallout, having weathered divorces, diagnoses, and Twitter storms that could sink ships. The host, Christine, clears her throat, voice honeyed but strained. Welcome back, Lady Essa and our viewers at home. What a lively discussion we've had. Sir Cliff, thank you so much for joining us, but the seat is empty, a void as glaring as a missing verse, and congratulations. Cut to the altercation's core. It ignited when Denise, emboldened by a sip of water that might as well have been rocket fuel, leaned forward and said, Cliff, with all due respect, your good old days often meant women like me biting our tongues while men called the shots. How can you romanticize that? The words land like a slap at a garden party, polite phrasing belying the punch. Cliff, mid-sip of his own tea, sets the cup down with a clink that reverberates through microphones, his jaw tightening like a drum skin. Denise, my dear, I've always treated every lady with the utmost respect. To ask any of my co-stars from the films. We didn't need hashtags to be decent. It's a nightly parry, laced with that vintage condescension that grates on modern ears. The audience shifts uncomfortably, a few gasps punctuating the hush. One fan in the front row, decked in a wired-for-sound tee, covers her mouth in horror. Janet Street Porter jumps in, her spectacles glinting like searchlights. Hang on, both of you eclipsed from an era where gallantry was king, but Denise's right times have evolved. Colleen Nolan, ever the peacemaker with her Scouse warmth, adds, aye, but let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Cliff's raised millions for charity, hasn't he? But the die is cast. Denise, fire in her veins from years of loose women. Lioness roars, counters, charities grand, but ignoring systemic issues? That's the real scandal. I lived Ida producers leering, scripts sidelining us. Your innocence blinded you, Cliff, and that's the problem. Her voice cracks on problem, raw emotion spilling like over-steeped tea. Cliff's face, usually a canvas of serene smiles, Crumple's eyes widening in disbelief, then narrowing in defense. Blinded, I've faced my own injustices. Denise raided by police on national telly for nothing. You think I don't know pain? The studio erupts, overlapping shouts, panelists waving hands like traffic cops at rush hour. Gloria Hunniford, the veteran voice of reason, stands halfway, arms outstretched. Ladies, gentlemen please. But it's futile. The verbal volleys escalate, Cliff gesturing emphatically, his wedding ring catching the lights like a distress signal. Denise matches him decibel for decibel, her necklace swinging like a pendulum counting down to doom. Viewers at home freeze frame their lunches, phones aloft to capture the carnage for posterity. Social media ignites, #loose women meltdown tops trends, with Cliff's devotees decrying bullying and Denise's squad cheering tell him. One tweet reads, Cliff's a national treasury, Denise just vandalized it. #Team Cliff. Another, finally, someone calls out the Dino attitudes. Go Den. #me too. The producer, face ashen in the booth, signals frantically a cut to break. No, too late. The heat's too high. Security, burly chaps more used to escorting rowdy guests than legends, edge on to the set periphery. Cliff, sensing the tide turning against him, rises slowly, dignity his shield. Perhaps I've outstayed my welcome in this brave new world. But Denise, not one to back down from a Barney, snaps, outstayed? You've monopolized the narrative for decades as a time for the rest of us. It's the tipping point. Cliff's chair scrapes back with a screech that pierces souls. His exit a dignified storm off that belies the hurt. The panel gapes as he vanishes behind the curtains, applause faltering into stunned silence. Christine, ad-libbing like a pro, fills the void. Well, that was passionate. We'll be right back. But the damage, irreparable in the moment. Backstage, Cliff slumps into a leather armchair, head in hands, his manager murmuring consolations while scrolling damage control headlines. Denise, meanwhile, exhales shakily, high fives from co-panelists mingling with worried glances as she toppled a titan or torched a bridge. The audience, processing the pandemonium, buzzes like bees in a shaken hive. One woman whispers to her friend, I love Cliff, but she had a point. Outside, paparazzi swarm the exits, lenses hungry for the fallout. This altercation isn't isolated, it's the climax of brewing tensions in UK telly, where boomer icons rub shoulders with millennial mares. Cliff's past, from dodging draft dodger rumors to embracing Christianity amid excess, has armored him against critique, but Denise's candor is a chink in that plate. Her own arc from Waterloo Road woes to bipolar bravery fuels her fearlessness, making her the perfect foil. As ads roll, experts on standby phones dissect, was it ambush or authentic? PR gurus predict boycotts, therapists tweet on emotional triggers. Yet in the eye of this storm, both warriors lick wounds. A Cliff pondering relevance in a woke world, Denise questioning if volume equals victory. The break ends, the panel reconvenes. Faces composed but eyes haunted. Gloria opens with a segue to safer shores. Now, on to fashion faux pas. But the ghost lingers, a spectral reminder that TV's a tinderbox. Fans flood forums, petitions circulate for Cliff's return, memes multiply like rabbits. One viral clip zooms on Cliff's exit, captioned When Boomer Meets Gen X Furry. Another shows Denise's mic drop moment, loop to We Will Rock You. The ribble, immediate. Loose women ratings spike 30%, proving scandal sells. ITV execs, in boardrooms far removed, toast the buzz even as they brace for backlash. Cliff's team issues a statement. Sir Cliff was disappointed by the tone but wishes the show well. Denise tweets, passionate debate, not personal, respect to Cliff's legacy. But words can't unsay the said. The scar tissue forms. This is daytime drama at its rawest and unscripted, unfiltered, unforgettable. As we pivot to repercussions, consider, in an age of echo chambers, does clash catalyze change or just carnage? The answer unfolds in headlines yet to print, but one thing's clear: this kickoff reshapes reputations. With the studio lights dimming on the empty guest chair like a spotlight fleeing a fallen star, the Loose Women panel attempts resurrection, but the elephant, or rather, the ejected knight, looms larger than life. Christine Lampard, her script crinkling under tense fingers, pivots masterfully. That was certainly an eye-opener, ladies. Denise, your passion for equality shines through. What prompted that deep dive? Denise, still flushed like a prizefighter post-bell, exhales a laugh that's half relief, half rue. Look, I adore Cliff's music. A summer holiday got me through many a lockdown, but when he glossed over the grit of showbiz history, I couldn't sit quiet. We've come too far for fairy tales. The audience, thawing from shock, offers a smattering of applause, divided claps echoing ambivalence. Gloria Hunniford, ever the bridge builder, nods sagely. Absolutely, Denise, your lived experience adds such weight. Cliff's era had its charms, but the blind spots. Janet Street Porter, spectacles perched like a judge's gavel, chimes in with acerbic wit. Darling, I've been in telly since dinosaurs roamed. Cliff's chivalry was cute then, but now, its corsets on a jogger. Colleen Nolan, wiping a mock tear, quips, I just wanted to hug him. A poor lamb looked like I'd nicked his last Jaffa cake. Laughter bubbles up, a pressure valve releasing, but it's brittle, underscored by the phantom of Cliff's departure. Offset, in the labyrinthine bowels of ITV, producers huddle like generals post-battle. Ratings gold or reputational ruin? Phones ring off hooks. A Cliff's publicist demanding airtime, Denise's agent fielding feminist cheers. The kicker comes swift. Footage leaks online within minutes, courtesy of a sneaky stagehand's smartphone, amassing millions of views before tea time. Headlines scream from digital presses, Cliff booted from Loose Women in Welch wildfire. The Guardian pens a think piece on generational gashes, while the Sun splashes pap shots of Cliff fleeing to his car, shades on, scowl hidden. Social media, a coliseum of gladiators. #Justice for Cliff garners 50K posts, fans sharing throwback clips of his Eurovision triumphs to counter the cancel. #Denise did right counters with stats on industry sexism, survivors' stories threading like a quilt of quiet rage. One viral thread dissects Cliff's words frame by frame, highlighting condescension in his smiles. Another lionizes Denise as the voice we need now. Celebrities weigh in. Piers Morgan tweets fire emojis for Cliff, calling it woke warfare. Jodie Marsh hails Denise as Sister Slayer. Back on air, the segment wraps awkwardly, segueing to a cooking demo that's as appetizing as cardboard. Viewers switch off in droves or tune in sharper. The scandal siren call irresistible. Immediate fallout hits Cliff hardest. His tour tickets, buoyed pre-show, flatlining sales. A Cliff's boycott ITV, vowing allegiance via petitions for a solo special. Yet silver linings glint. Streams of the young ones surge 200%. Nostalgia bomb for bruised egos. Denise, a phoenix, book deals ping from publishers hungry for her memoir sequel. From Soldier to Showbiz Soldier, her bipolar charity, the Denise Welch Foundation, sees donations double. Irony not last. A clash births cash for causes, but personally. Sleepless nights assail both. Cliff, in his Surrey estate, pores over script with a new lens, pondering if gentleman equates to gagged. Denise, nursing AGT in her Northumberland nook, scrolls hate mail laced with husband barbs, her husband's arm a steady anchor. The panel reconvenes off-air for debrief, hugs exchanged, tears shed, a pact to own it. ITV brass, in crisis mode, floats apology as a public for Cliff, private pep talks for Denise. Media rounds ensue, breakfast telly hosts grill survivors. What would you say to Cliff now? Denise, sorry if it stung, but truth hurts less than silence. Cliff, via voiceover in a pre-recorded clip, debates healthy I'll cherish the music, not the melee. Fans fracture further. Some burn Loose Women merch in viral videos, others tattoo Team Welch in defiant ink. Cultural commentators feast, podcasts pop like corn. The Cliff conundrum trending on Spotify, unpacking how one spat spotlights societal schisms. From boomer backlash to zoomer zingers, it's a microcosm of Britain's body politica, polite on surface, pulsing with unrest below. Economically, The Ripple rocks. Loose women ad slots auction at premium. Sponsors salivating over spotlight. Cliff's label rushes a compilation reissue. Cliff's classics. Uncancelled. Cheekily timed. Denise guests on Woman's Hour. Voice steady. It wasn't about him, it's about USA. All women who've whispered when we should draw her. The echo chamber amplifies. TikTok's remix the row into rap battles. Gen Z dubbing Cliff Dino dad with affectionate edge. Yet deeper wounds fester. Cliff confined to a close pal. Leaked later. Felt like my life's work dismissed in a dash. Denise admits in a diary dump to therapy. Won the war. Lost the warmth. As days blur to weeks. Reconciliation rumors swirl. A joint interview? Unlikely, but olive branches extend via mutual mates. The incident infiltrates pop culture. A Saturday Night Live sketches it with cameos. Loose women, The Reckoning. Academics cited in gender studies syllabi. From Mic Drop to Mic Off. Power dynamics in daytime discourse. Financially, Denise's net worth nudges up. Endorsements from empowerment brands. Cliff's endures. Buoyed by diehards, but the true toll? Intangibly trust eroded. Dialogues deferred. In this post-kickoff kaleidoscope, heroes and villains blur, both emerge humanized, flawed facets gleaming. As we trace to long-term legacies, ponder, does one heated hour heal historical hurts or merely highlight them? The verdicts and the vinyl grooves and viral views. Entertainment evolves, but empathy, that's the encore we crave.